Everyone enjoys getting out on the town for some live music. And there's nothing like going backstage and down the hall for a VIP pass to the inside information and interviews with the bands, singers, and songwriters that you enjoy. Welcome to Hall Around Town Radio's Backstage Hall Pass, a showcase of homegrown talent, mixing independent music with personal interviews and a behind-the-scenes look at our music community. Backstage Hall Pass is your front row center seat to some great conversation with the area's most talented artists. Whether you like rock, blues, folk, country, or R&B, Backstage Hall Pass delivers you a daily dose of the stories behind the music. And now, here's the host of our show, Scott Hall.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome on a relaxing Monday after a powerhouse 5 days of music. Oh, man, was it crazy this weekend. Hopefully you had a great time out there. We had a great time. Saw some wonderful music over the weekend, and we're going to talk about it here today. Let's see who's checking in. I cannot see you pop up on the show, so if you're out there, if you want me to say hi, you gotta make a comment. You do. Not going to be able to see you pop into the show today. Here's Glenn on the YouTube channel. Thank you, Glenn, for being here. That's a pretty picture, Glenn. It is. Rob Paisley checking in on YouTube as well. Thank you for being one of our YouTube subscribers. We appreciate that. Hey, Lou, how are you? Great weekend it was. It was. I know a lot of you saw a bunch of music. Hi, Gina McCann. How are you? Hi, Marcy. Checking in from Mr. Burroughs Tavern, where I'll be tomorrow night hosting Quiztastic Trivia. That goes on at 7 o'clock. Little shameless plug I'm throwing in there while we're getting some people live. Hi, Bill. Thanks for dropping by. Thanks for posting those videos you did, Bill, from the Bell the other night. Thank you so much for that. Kathy Laverde in the house. How you doing, Kathy? Can't thank you enough for the weekend as well. We had a blast. Great weekend. Celebrating Mrs. Hall Around Town's birthday on a couple of evenings and some more fun out there that we had. And we're going to talk about it today. But first and foremost, hi, Douglas Hunt. How are you? Again, if you're out there, guys, I need you to say hi, say hey, say ho, something. Drop in to the conversation today. Welcome to Hall Around Town Radio, your number one source for live local music, news, bands, venues, and more. On this Monday, December 5th. 2022. We're live from the Hall Around Town Radio studios in beautiful downtown Springboro, Ohio, where I'll be doing this show. And then live on our trivia page tonight at 8. And then I'm a host on a podcast tonight, or co-host on a podcast, a guest, I should say. So they're going to talk to me about some fun stuff. So I'm looking forward to that. We'll put that one out when they release it. But it's a busy evening here in the studio. It is. Hi, Mike. Good to see you. Hey and ho, as you said. Hi, Roger. Thank you. Chris Thompson. Heard Uncle Rico killed it over the weekend at Mr. Burroughs. Didn't get a chance to be there. Already was committed to some fun stuff, but thank you guys for playing. Mrs. Hall Around Town has joined the party. There she is. Howdy do. All right. Becky Williams in the house. Saw her over the weekend at the TSO show we're going to talk about. So let me get started, guys. I've got to get rolling. Hi, Marie. We're going to hit it up here and talk about some fun stuff. And first and foremost, I want to say thank you to everybody who shared the show on Thursday, our Who's Playing Out segment, where we feature the best musicians and venues in the tri-state and who's playing there and all that fun stuff. And man, 3,150 plus views. So thank you for that. We appreciate that. That's good for our musicians, and it helps support live local music, guys. So thank you for that. That's what we're here for, and some other fun stuff. And I'll talk about that in just a little bit. Yeah, it was a good show on Thursday. It was. And we always like to see that we get that many views on a show on a weekend. And it's brought to you every Thursday by the folks at Froggy's down in Monroe. Hi, Rick Henderson. Thank you. Hi, Butch. Thank you for being here. Marie. Who else is in the house? Kara is here. Kathy says, wowzer. Steve Stein from the Times is with us. Yes, Rick said had a big time at Hunter Pizzeria. Yeah, I had to miss that one too, man. That's one of my favorites as well, but you'll see why here in a minute. So also another wowzer on Sunday, just threw a little post up on the page, said, who'd you see play over the weekend? As of this afternoon, 101 people told us about it. And man, there was a lot of good music over the weekend. Some really, great shows out there. Had our friends from Love Bomb played over the weekend. That sounded like it was a great show. Uncle Rico, just a whole bunch out there. So if you saw somebody play and you didn't put it in our post, drop it in the comments today. If you saw somebody over the weekend that you wanted to give a shout out to. So yeah, really a good time. I want to go back to our week before last Thursday's show. We hit up, and I want to give another shout out to our friends from Until Rust. We caught them at Milano's in Miamisburg. And Milano's is a pizza sandwich joint. If you've never heard of it, it's wonderful. And Milano's was hosting the second to last show for Until Rust while they're going to take a break from music for a while. It's unknown how long they'll be gone. It's kind of a mystery. It is, but Until Rust, we got a chance to hear Shane and Rob, and I want to give them a big shout out again. It was a great crowd there at Milano's with the signature Until Rust sound going on. And again, we'll miss those guys. Hope they get back sooner than later. As we said, Todd Griffin, how are you? Vinyl Countdown, who stepped in to play for the Gamut this weekend at the Bell and the Bear, who had an illness and couldn't be there. Hi, James. Thank you. 0 Hour has joined us. Appreciate you being here. Kevin Cooper. We're going to talk about him here in just a second. In fact, let's do it right now. Let's talk about the Thursday jam at the Bell and the Bear. Off the rails, insane musical mayhem, as I call it, at the Bell on Thursday with the one and only lovely, adorable, wonderful personality, Britt Lightning from Vixen. You couldn't meet a nicer person. She is, and boy, is she good with the people. I mean, and she's got rock star status, man. She hangs with the big rock stars out there. And Britt's just down to earth and fun and really a pleasure to have around. We enjoyed being with her on Thursday night. And the, of course, cast of amazing talent that joined us at the Bell and the Bear that night. And I want to say Britt's a great guitarist. She exudes rock and roll. She does. It oozes out of her pores. And make some comments out there, guys, if you're there today. We'd love to hear from you. But I want to give a big shout out to Britt Lightning. She played the Women Who Rock fundraiser with Gary Hoy back a while ago, and then came back to the Bell to do a jam session and just had a great weekend with her. And she hung around, like I said, at the Bell and met everyone that she could, took pictures with everyone. I mean, she was working hard and played a ton of music that night, which was just off the hook great. Some of the highlights, Kathy says she lights up the room. She does. And her smile is infectious, and she's just a really cool person. So I'm honored to have met her and had her on the show and everything else. It was just fun to be around her. Hope to do more of that. She is agreed, though, when they put out some new music, she's going to come on the show, and we're going to chat about that. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Playing with an 80s rock band called Vixen that you're all probably familiar with. There's some songs that they have that are very familiar, but Edge of a Broken Heart is the big one. And she did that one of the highlights that night with Ann Coleman singing. Ann Coleman from Acoustic Blue and Dreamboat Annie. Ann's got a wonderful voice and just really, really gets it. I mean, Ann's one of those great stage performers. And we were happy to see that. Also, another highlight for me that night was Melissa Singer Reed from DV8 and Dreamboat Annie as well, singing Barracuda with Britt playing guitar on that one. It was wild. If you know Melissa, you know her vocals are off the hook as well. And just really, that was a powerful moment in the night when those two got together doing that one. Gina McCann, who just commented there, said she was so down to earth and kind. That's I know. And you know, when people get to that status in music, sometimes they don't treat people well. I mean, you know that. I mean, it's probably over time getting picked at by people all night long. Everybody wants a piece of you. Everybody wants a picture with you, all those things. But it didn't seem to bother her in the least little bit. She just seemed like she was having a great time. And Gina, one of the other highlights of the night is always your voice there on a Thursday night jam. Gina bringing that bluesy sound to the stage that she always does. There's just amazing vocalists at the Bell. And the house band we'll get to in a minute, but I want to talk about some other folks who were up there besides Gina, Russell Jenkins, in the house, Rick Kern, of course, the house band that night, Kevin Cooper, Jim Cuesta, Jamie Combs, Travis and Doug Drew, both. Travis, oh God, his last name just slipped me. Why did I do that? Travis Hanna, I'm sorry. Travis Hanna and Doug Drew on the drums. And yeah, I'm trying to read this stuff here. Oh, Kathy says she liked it. Nailed it, whatever, killed it, did it all. And Ray Renee said Anna Melissa sounded amazing. Ray, it was good to see you there that night. Gina says, love them two ladies. Yes. And Gina, we love you as well. And Dave Yeck says, Gina is the gold standard. Thank you for that, Dave. But and let me talk about this house band, though. I really want to emphasize what makes this jam, no matter who's there. And having Britt Lightning there was like the frosting on the cake. But everybody that comes and plays at the house jam, at the house band of Kevin Cooper, Jim Cuesta, Jamie Combs, a host of drummers. Doug Drew was off the hook from DV8 that night. Travis Hanna, our bass players, my gosh, Charles Moreno, Rick Dews, Kathy Laverde, who was on bass, and even Kareem got a few bass licks in. The second wind horn section, and on and on and on. I mean, there were so many people that night who just turned the room on fire. And I got to give a huge shout out to all those folks who come every week and make that event such a magical night of music at the Bell and the Bear. And Dave Yeck said he saw more of me this weekend than he had in months. It's great to see you too, Dave. And yeah, great night. We're going to talk about at the Blue Note coming up here as well. And let's see what we got. Bill, thank you for that comment. Absolutely. Yeah, Brian Middendorf also played bass. Saw that. I had him on my list too, and I just skipped over his name, actually. And lots of great people there at the Bell Jam. We were celebrating some birthdays that night. Mr. Dave Yeck's birthday, Miss Cricket's birthday, and Liz, Mrs. All Around Town's birthday that night. We were celebrating. And actually a night early because it was actually on Friday where we celebrated some more and then celebrated again on Saturday. She has birthday month. She does. That's how she rolls. Absolutely. And Jim said when you mix up the band lineup, it gets even stronger. Yeah, and unfortunately, that was not the night for people to show up with their guitars and want to play because it was kind of scripted because of Britt Lightning being there, and they had to do some songs that were a must and all that. They tried to get as many people on the stage as they could. So if you didn't get on this week, go back Thursday and enjoy some time at the Bell. It's every Thursday night, and you'll make it to the stage with that incredible house band. And they are incredible because they take pride in what they do and how they play the music. So do that. Shout out to Karis, my co-host on Tuesday's show called Hot Topic Tuesday. She'll be with me tomorrow. Give you a little sneak peek of that at the end of the show today on what we're going to talk about tomorrow, so you can prime the pump and get ready for that one. But thank you, Bell and the Bear, for another great Thursday night. It was a school night. I was out too late, but it's okay. Then let's roll Friday night to the Blue Note in Harrison. Let me start with the venue real quick. If you haven't been to the Blue Note, you want to go to a show, go to the Blue Note, people. Go to the Blue Note. Because I will tell you, easy parking, easy in and out, great facility, a wonderful stage and sound and lighting. So it's all rolled into one. And Gina said the musicianship. I agree, always. And oh, that's right. Thank you. Thank you, Liz. Gosh, I almost forgot that. Let me back up before I talk about the Blue Note. Yes. ZZ Top, Jeff Vance, the normal sound man, sound guy as he's known, Jeff Vance doing a ZZ Top tune, and he killed it. He did. It was incredible. So, yeah, thank you, Jeff Vance, always for doing your thing. Hi, Derek Stewart. Thanks for joining us. All right, let me go to the Blue Note on Friday night. Here's what happened. We got there, thanks to Miss Kathy Laverde for having a huge party over in the corner. All the babies were in the corner. But Britt Lightning joined us. Karis, we had a host of people there, along with Miss Kathy Laverde, her family, because her son Danny tours with Jeff Tate playing the drums. And what an honor it was to get to see him play with this incredible rock act, man. And if you haven't seen Jeff Tate, if he comes back to town, if you like Queensryche music at all, even if you don't, if you like just rock music, go see this show. Openers that night were Crown Watts. Their amazing prog rock sound. The guys from Crown Watts, super nice guys, came over later to the table. We chatted a bit, and just seeing them play was fantastic. They opened the show on the opposite stage in the other room at the Blue Note, but it was opened up because it was such a huge crowd for Jeff Tate. It was opened up like one big main room there. And if you haven't been to the Blue Note, you really don't know what I'm talking about, but it's cool how they do that. And nobody in the pub that night. Normally there's a band in the pub as well when there's shows going on there. But hats off to Crown Watts, man. John Michael came over, talked a whole lot with us, and he was proud to be up there and opening up the show for Jeff Tate from Queensryche. Then the support band came on, and the support band is a big extension of Jeff Tate's touring band. It's pretty much basically his band. But the front man for this, that was the opener, or the opening act, as we want to call it, or support, was Mark. And if it's Daly or Daly, he's from Ireland. I don't know how it's exactly pronounced, but Mark's a rocker, man. Killer strong rock sound with several of the Jeff Tate band members up there playing. His stage presence was powerful. His vocals were even more powerful, and just absolutely put on a great opening show to get people pumped up for Jeff Tate. And that's what it's about, to be a support band. I mean, you know, if you're direct support, you're the first one before the band, you want to get that crowd pumped up, and they did. And yes, I said Mark, but I don't know how his last name's pronounced, Kathy. I never could catch it because he's got such a thick accent. Irish he is, but Mark was incredible, really good, and did a great job. So it was fun to see them open, but man, you knew it was going to be a rock show from the first kick drum beat that Danny Laverde hit when he was playing with the support band. You knew it was going to be a rock show because that bass hit you in the chest, man. And it was a good one. And yeah, Crown Watts certainly was on fire, Jim. Yes, they were. And Daly. Okay. So there it is. Thank you, Kathy, for that English education or Irish education. Mark Daly. Because I didn't know if it was Daly or Daly or Daly or Daly. But he did great. Whatever you want to call him, he was wonderful. Thought I was about to say Danny DeVito. Not Danny DeVito. No. Danny Laverde. So, and Mark had his merch there. He had all kinds of stuff going on. He made the funniest comment of the night, actually. He said something about he had two little kids at home, and if Santa was going to come this year, you needed to go buy some merch. I thought that was pretty comical, but so true for a touring act. I mean, merch is where it's at. Merch is where the money's at most of the time. So let me get to Jeff Tate on Friday, because I'm running a little long here. If you're out there, if you saw the Jeff Tate show, make some comments. I'd love to hear from you. But if you don't know, Jeff Tate tours with, gosh, Kathy, correct me if I'm wrong on any of these names. I think I got them right. James Brown on lead guitars. Not the James Brown that most of you know, but James Brown, Alex Hart on guitar, Jack Ross on bass, I believe. Danny Laverde on the drums. I'm missing one. So Kathy, you're going to have to help me out. She knows the band much better. She does. What is happening here? Why is my sound making weird noises? All right. Hi, Cricket. Thanks for being here. Happy birthday, belated again. All right. I got to see you, though. Kieran. Okay. Or Kieran. Who the hell names these people? I guess in Ireland or Scotland or wherever they're from. Yeah. And Mark says, how about the light guys on both stages. Yeah, always. And we'll get to that, the production side of it here in a minute. But yeah, the show was amazing. What's up, Heath Bowling? And Lori says, Kyrian as well, or Kyrian, however you say it. I don't know. I should probably learn to pronounce these names, but nobody will care after tomorrow. So we're just going to talk about it today. So Jeff Tate, founding member and iconic lead singer of Queensryche. Okay. And yes, Kyrian Robertson on lead guitar, Jack Ross on bass. I think James Brown on guitar, Danny Laverde on drums. There we go. I'm getting it better. They played a lot of tunes, man, that were very familiar from the Queensryche songbook. And the tour celebrates 30 years since Empire was released, their album in 1990. Okay, it was a multi-platinum album. Basically the song Silent Lucidity was nominated for a couple Grammys in 1992 for Best Rock Song, Best Vocal Performance by a Duo or Group. Jeff Tate hit the ground running that night, and what a show he put on. The minute his feet hit the stage, it was commanding presence, man. He did it. He's one of those guys. He directs the band. He makes it happen. Mark Bransford said, God, I'm old. Yes, I agree. I feel old too. Mike Roberts said the doorman was a stud. Yes, he was, Mike Roberts. I'd date him. I would. And yes, Heath, they did Jet City Woman, and they did it well. And his voice, Jeff Tate's voice, is still pristinely good. Amazing. It's a killer voice. And the fans love the show. And what I love to do is I was watching some of the fans, and, I knew most of their songs that were popular songs, but some of these people were deep track people. And they were singing every word to every song. So you could tell they were huge Queensryche fans in their day, and still had a passion for Jeff Tate's voice and their music. His voice, I will say, it's as vibrant as it ever was. But his showmanship was something that really surprised me. I didn't expect it to be flashy and all that, and it was. I thought maybe he'd come out and sing the songs and kind of drone it at the microphone, but not at all. And the band moving around and the band doing their thing, they were just the epitome of a rock act. I mean, it was cool. I'm trying to get to your comments here. Matt Matheny says Jet City Woman, one of his favorites. Yeah. A lot of people's favorite there that night. They were all singing along to that one. And Mike Roberts was the doorman, Dave Yeck. Yes. Still got the vocals. They do, Heath, for sure. And Lori says theatrical. And the band, Dave Yeck, you could tell the band has so much fun. I mean, Jeff Tate's fans are obviously rabid. They are. I mean, they're rabid for his music. They want as much as they can get of it. And he put on a hell of a show. And, just the songs that, they played, Empire, gosh, let me go down the list here. I have some on the list. Another Rainy Night Without You, Sacred Ground, Best I Can. What else did they do that night? Had a whole list. Bridge, Walk in the Shadows, Take Hold of the Flame, Jet City Woman, and then into Silent Lucidity, which was absolutely killer. And then a rock and roll version, as they did an encore, to Silver Bells, the Christmas song. It was awesome. Kathy says Queen of the Reich. Yes. Thank you, Kathy. So Queen of the Reich was the other encore song after Silver Bells. And just what can I say? And what made the night, first of all, was hanging with great friends and being surrounded by people who really enjoyed the music, but they were all there for a reason. Not only were they there for Jeff Tate, but they were there to support Danny Laverde. And I can't tell you how much fun this kid, and I'm going to call him a kid because he's a kid to me, has on stage and playing the music he plays. He's a killer drummer. He's an even better person. And when he came out after the show and visited, and he couldn't have been any more humble and nice and appreciative of everyone being there to see them play that night. And I think it was fun for him to be at home. He got the loudest shout out of everybody when they announced his name, when they introduced the band. It was cool. And Cricket said she posted videos of the whole thing with her shameless plug for her YouTube channel, Cricket Cynthia. If you want to check it out, check it out. All right. So I'm rambling on Jeff Tate, but what I can say about that was a masterful night of music by him and just enthusiasm. He's still, after 30 years of this album, enthusiastic about performing it for people. And he was having a good time, and everybody was having a good time. And yes, Mark says his sound check was about 2 hours long. Yeah. And, you know, I got to give a shout out to Mike Kuntz, who was behind the scenes that night, working there at the Blue Note, getting things on the stage right. And Mark running sound in the other room with Crown Watts. And anytime I go to the Blue Note, the sound is perfect. Now, I'd never taken in a show from the corner where we were, at a little bit of difference there than I'm normally used to being out in the front of the room. But it's still, the sound is always perfect. And yeah, and absolutely, if he did a 2 hour sound check, he's serious. Or he's crazy, one or the other. I've had guys do 2 hour sound checks at concerts I've worked that were crazy. Jack Russell, Great White, say no more. But yeah, no, Jeff Tate, you can tell he's a perfectionist with his sound. He wants the vocals to sound right. You know, it's just cool. So if you ever want to catch them, they're going to be coming back in through town. They're going to route through here again. So please check them out, you know. And if you like Queensryche, man, you'll love Jeff Tate. And look at Cricket's videos. You'll see some of the wonderful evening there with the production was great. The lighting was good. The sound was good. Everything fun. So I've got to move on to my final talk here before we get out of here tonight. I'm running long, so I've got about 3 minutes left to get this one in. Besides the obvious rock and roll weekend that we had, I want to tell you about the Trans-Siberian Orchestra. I've seen them numerous times in my life. This production, 10 tour buses. Look to me, I quit counting it like 15 semis. This production is off the hook. You know, I always recall being impressed of the production at TSO. I mean, that's what makes it. But the instrumentation was great. I was amazed how the show is laid out, timing wise. The sound and lighting department, let me tell you, that whoever's doing the lights, and the light guy's been with them since day one. He has created every one of these performances. The light show is mesmerizing. I mean, it, and Eddie Trunk from you know, that metal show. If you remember Eddie does a talk show on XM radio called Trunk Nation. But Eddie says it is the greatest rock production of all time. And I agree with it. It is. It's amazing. The sound is perfect. The lighting is perfect. The performers are perfect. There was only one disappointment. Well, I'll get to the venue disappointments in a minute. But this was at the Nutter Center in Fairborn, Ohio. And one disappointment for production for me was they never had any cameras on the vocalist to see them sing. We were straight out right behind front of house, up about 3 rows at the other end of the arena. Perfect view to see the production. It was probably the best I've ever seen from that angle, but never really got to see them up close enough. If you were where we were, there was no screens like you would see at a normal concert to see that. The production had tons of screens with a lot of things going on in their show and those kind of things. But, you know, Joel Hoekstra on guitar, on guitar, amazing. The cast of vocalists, amazing. I was disappointed. There's 2 tours for TSO this year going on, one out on the West Coast and one on the East Coast area, and it'll bring $330 million in 2 months or better. It's a huge production, but it also comes with a big cost, I'm sure. With rolling with 10 tour buses and 12, 15 semis on this tour, it's a lot. And John Bolio says, top notch, absolutely top notch, John. It's a great production. And if you've never seen it, get ticket. Just go see it once. Even if you never go see it again, go see it once. I was taken back by the incredible vocals I heard all night. They were perfect. The back of the house where they brought people up on some grids that moved and movers and all this stuff. I don't know what they call that, but they're standing up there playing. So we got a chance to see that, and the pyro shooting all over the arena. It was just an absolutely, it was a machine. And the sound is like being in a sound booth with headphones on. It was that clean. So really good. Other than the two people that sat behind us that were on their first date, decided to talk through the entire show. I had to restrain Mrs. Hall around town from probably getting us in a fight. But that happens sometimes at shows. And the Nutter Center seats are tight. If you're a big boy like me, and then some bigger boy sits next to you, it's crowded. You get up close and personal. But here's my one drawback to the whole thing. And Dave said he would have let. Yeah, this girl and guy back there, all they did is talk through the whole thing. It was a little painful. But the Nutter Center, another unfortunate epic fail with a large concert. I got to say that. Getting people in. I mean, we arrived at 10 till 2 we would have arrived if traffic hadn't been miserably backed up at probably earlier than that, but we arrived about 10 till 2 for a 3:00 afternoon show. And we got in with 10 minutes to spare. Just getting in the parking lot, getting parked, having to hike 1.5 miles to get in the place. And they're just not prepared sometimes for those kind of events. And it's a lot of people. It's a sold out show, 2 of them though. And here's the insanity. They have the show and then they let everybody out at 5:30. And there's a 7:00 show happening. Explain that to me. Whose idea was that of being smart? That just baffled me. Because not only we had everybody trying to get out of the venue, we had people trying to get in the venue. And of course, they open all the gates to get you out. And then there's all these people trying to get in, then they're not prepared to have you come in to scan your ticket or any of that. It was insane. We're going downstairs on the back of the arena to get thank you, Becky. It was an 8:00 show. Thank you. Well, yeah, they were letting people in at 6:30. So craziness. And large venue show, small venue. I guess that's part of the problem, but they ought to be happy they're getting it. I guess it's a good money maker for them. And they were. And Phyllis says that's what keeps her from going to see these concerts. Yeah, I agree. So that's kind of our weekend. I won't dwell. If you haven't seen TSO, there's plenty of videos online. Just go look at the production alone. It's crazy. And good to see you, Becky. As we were fighting the mob going down the stairs, and people are coming up the stairs to get in. Oh, craziness. Hi, 7 West. Thanks for being here. And I don't even know what we paid for tickets for TSO. All I said to Mrs. Hall around town one day as we were sitting on the couch, oh, TSO will be here on this date. And she booked it. So she does that. She's good at that. She takes care of that for me. I get frustrated, want to throw the phone when Ticketmaster or somebody doesn't work or whatever, Live Nation and all that stuff. It's pretty crazy. So let me talk about tomorrow really fast. We got to get out of here. But tomorrow, Top 5 Tuesday. Jesus. See how long it's been today? It's going to be a long day, folks. Been in the studio a long time. Tomorrow, Hot Topic Tuesday. So used to saying Top 5 Tuesday with Karis, my co-host. And tomorrow, we had somebody write in, and we ask, by the way, if anybody wants to suggest something for Hot Topic Tuesday, send it to our DMs, as the cool people like to say. Send us a message, and we'll put it on the list to add to that. But this week, we're going to talk about something really fun. Band set lists. And who decides the set list in the band? And sometimes what the hell were they thinking to come out of the chute with 4 slow songs? So we're talking about local acts, man. We're talking about local acts, and this came into us via written request. So we're gonna do it, and we'll even shout out who did it tomorrow. But it'll be a good one, and we'd love to have you with us. Starts at 5:00. Karis will be joining me live as always, and she's always good for fun. But who makes the set list in a band? And questions like, do you call an audible? Do you change it on the way down the road when you look at your audience? Could be fun tomorrow, 5:00. We'd love to see you. I'll be at Mr. Burroughs at 7 tomorrow night, live on the trivia page tonight at 8. Wow. It's going to be fun. Thanks for being here, everybody. Hope you had fun with us. I'm getting out of here for now. We'll be back tomorrow, 5:00, with Hot Topic Tuesday, featuring our co-host, Karis. Join us then. Until then, guys, have a safe evening. Get out and support some live local music if you can. And until then,